I tried never to try to buy a cow I judged. And, a lot of judges did that, but I tried not to do that. However, when I judged the Ozark Empire State Fair in Missouri, it was one of those interesting weeks. Number one, I judged all breeds. Number two, it was like 100 degrees and 100% humidity. And it was the most miserable week you could ever imagine. And after we got through judging every day, we'd go to the hot tub, and we'd go to the saunas, and we'd go swimming and try to relax and get rid of the stifling heat for the day. But what was interesting, when I got all through, well, there were two things that was interesting. Number one, that was the largest milking shorthorn show I'd ever judged. I mean, I don't want to be critical of milking shorthorns, but it would be easy to be critical of that class. Huh? Now, that was a few years ago, like 20-something years ago, huh? And they've come a long way since then. I just watched the national show in Madison, Wisconsin, and they had a beautiful show. So, however, that was an experience. But there were two things that happened at this show that made it memorable. Number one, it was hot, it was humid. In fact, there were three things that happened at this show. One of the things is I went out one day to visit with the Robert Thompsons, Rob Thompson farm. And, they have a fabulous herd of cattle, great breeders, some of the all-time great breeders of the Holstein breed in the U.S. But, they held all their kids out of school to show me their herd that day. And I was impressed. I've never had someone hold their kids out of school just to show me their herd. And as we went through every animal in the herd, one by one, I thought, something? This is what the Holstein industry is all about. I mean, family. I mean, from mom to dad to the kids. I mean, they knew those cows. They worked with them. They loved them. And I mean, it was a great experience just to go through that herd. Now, the second thing that happened at that show, there was a guy by the name of Donnie Farmer. Donnie Farmer was a guy that was, to say the least, an extrovert. And he would yell at me from the stands while I was judging. And, I finally had to tell him that if he didn't stop, I was going to have him removed from the stands. Because he would say, hurry up, we need to go to dinner. Hurry up, this Western dance starts at 7 o'clock, or hurry up. And I'm thinking, something? I'm judging. You don't hurry up when you're judging. These people have worked hard. So at any rate, I finally got him to remove from the stand so I could finish judging. The third thing that was memorable about that show, and they had a great show. Larry Purdy had a really nice 4-year-old that was just fresh, had a beautiful litter. Later scored 93, I was told, and I made her grand champion. But the cow I put second was a cow that was stale, and probably was the best cow in the class, but she was stale. So I put the fresh cow with the beautiful udder first, and this cow second. And anyway, when I was all through with the show, and I thought I'd done a great job with the show, because they lined up really nice. And I went over afterward, and they were having their after the championship party. And the guy that owned the second place 4-year-old was saying, something? I had a chance to sell that cow, and I should have sold him. I said, what cows were you going to sell? He says, the first place dry cow and that second place 4-year-old. And he says, I should have sold him. I wish I'd have sold him. He says, I probably lost my chance. So I asked him, I said, how much were you going to get paid? He said $7,000. So I told him, I says, hey, for $7,000, I'll buy them. If you think they got missed, I says, I'll give you your money. He was so excited, he says, I'll take it. I wrote him a check. Of course, the cow came out to California. She calved again. She was best udder at the state show California for 2 years running. She ended up 92 or 93. I sent the dry cow to New York. She ended up winning the New York State Show dry cow class, and in the age cow class she was in the top 5. And it was one of the best buys I ever made. But you know something? When you're showing, Don't get hung up on how you place, because how the cows look that day, how the judge feels, how you're comparing them. Remember, you know, it's not how good they are, if you're comparing to what else is in the class. We just went through that at Madison this year. We had a great 4-year-old, but you know something? They had a great 4-year-old class. And when you have a great class of cows, you know, the judge is trying to fit them in. That's what I tried to do there. But the thing that was interesting about that, that's the only time I ever bought cows that I had placed in the class.